If you told me a year ago that I'd be writing JavaScripts, building my own projects, I honestly wouldn't have believed you because I would never think that I would ever even be able to write a piece of code. Today, I want to share my journey with you of being a junior developer. I mean, complete beginner. My mistakes, my breakthroughs, things I've learned, and everything in between. The first thing I want to talk about, and the thing that people kind of wonder is like, why did I get into coding, right? Like, what are the reasons that people jump into this sort of profession? So at the minute, I work in the security sector. I work very long hours. I work 12-hour days. Most days is 12-hour shifts. Long shifts, dealing with a lot of conflict like all the time. And I mean, I enjoy my job, don't get me wrong. I actually like my job a lot. But financially speaking, you know, I know I'm able to do more. I'm capable for more. I know I can grow more, be better, all that sort of stuff. Funny enough, it was actually my wife that recommended that I try and get into tech. The main reason you could say was obviously monetary, like most people that are looking to switch careers for obvious reasons. But I mean, learning a whole different skill set and coding, like with coding, you're literally a money printing machine because you can start any business that you want, build any interface, do anything that you want and sell it to somebody, which that in itself is a skill set. So even if you don't land the job, you have the skill set to create something that can make you money. In the past 2 months, 2 months and a half, you know, I've learned HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I'm going to be working on other languages like TypeScript, Redux, React. You know, I want to learn 3JS as well eventually. I find that quite interesting, especially, you know, with websites, how things are kind of developing. But I'm very proud in how far I've come and how far I achieved. I mean, I've attempted to learn how to code twice before this and I've actually quit. So the fact that I'm actually getting somewhere, doing something with it, I'm very proud. You know, you might think that's kind of silly, but I'm actually quite proud of myself for that. I started documenting my journey basically 2 months ago. I'm just posting the stuff now. And I mean, the comments that I've been getting have been so supportive and it makes me just want to push harder, push further and, you know, really try and land a job in tech. So I appreciate if you comment on my stuff. It really does mean a lot. So in terms of learning processes, there's a way that you could go about things, right? So my learning process is quite a bit different. It's definitely interesting as well. I'll tell you that much. I'm actually following a boot camp at the minute. I know sometimes there can be a bit of a stigma with boot camps, right? Like, is the boot camp good enough to get you into a job, right? The thing you gotta keep in mind, boot camps, in my opinion, are amazing because yes, you can go free on YouTube and yeah, you can go into a, you know, computer science degree, which in my opinion is too expensive. I wasn't able to afford it, so I had to go through the boot camp. I could, of course, go through YouTube, but I would have to spend so much time on YouTube to find the right knowledge from the right people. Where like in a boot camp, it's all compressed in terms of like all the information is there for you and you don't have to like stress about, okay, is this correct? You know what I mean? Because it's certified and it's, you know, looked over to make sure that you succeed with the boot camp. And the question of like, you know, is boot camps enough to get you into a job? And the answer is no, but I think the answer is also no for a computer science degree and if you're learning for free on YouTube. And the reason I say that is because no matter what you do in life, it's all about how you apply yourself to that, right? So let's say if I learn from a boot camp and I'm building projects, reaching out to interviewers and actually, you know, proactively trying to get a job, I'm going to get a lot further than the guy who just got his computer science degree but doesn't build any projects. You know what I mean? So you have to apply this skill set and prove what you've learned. So there's a couple of ways that I go about structuring my learning, which I think might be useful for some of you. It may not. So if you take it in, I'm happy. So I have little blocks of study sessions, okay? And what I do is I do the study session and whatever I learn, I write it down on flashcards, okay? Now I don't do this manually, obviously. I use something called Anki Pro. This video is not sponsored, but this app is so amazing. It's helped me literally get, you know, difficult concepts into my own head, which I'm very grateful for, by the way. And the good thing about this is it doesn't matter where I am, whether I'm at the gym, in the car, I can literally study these flashcards anywhere, like because it's all digital, you know what I mean? So it's amazing. I mean, when I'm doing cardio in the gym, I'm going through the flashcards, you know, making sure I understand everything. I did it for for loops, for inline block and elements, you know, all that sort of stuff. I use flashcards to get the definitions into my own head. And it's great because there's been many times where I've been stuck on a piece of code and I don't know what I should be writing. The definition just pops into my head. And after that, I was able to obviously finish the piece of code that I was writing because I studied the definition of what I'm learning. So I think definitions are very important in coding, definitely need to be studied. The other day, I even got stuck on a piece of code and I was doing for loops and I didn't couldn't really understand why my if and else statements was not working with the loop that I had just made. And obviously the reason ended up being that your if statements have to be a truthy value, your else statements have to be a falsy value. The only reason I was able to solve it on my own was because obviously I learned the definitions. Otherwise I'd have to go to someone, wait, all that sort of stuff. In terms of challenges, I found a couple of things challenging. In terms of the DOMs, and you know, when I initially started learning arrays and objects and JavaScript, like these concepts are very difficult, and I mean especially promises, I couldn't really understand it. With these hurdles, you have to just continue pushing and just try to be better 1% every day, and then eventually with repetition you're gonna learn it. So if you're a beginner and you're stuck on something, don't quit, keep pushing every single day. I promise you, it'll come together. It'll 100% come together. Now I want to talk about, you know, some of my wins, you know, that I've experienced in this journey, because look, at the end of the day, I am documenting my life and my progress on YouTube, and whether people watch or not, I don't really care. I just kind of want to have something out there. You know, eventually my kids could watch this, or you know, I could look back at it in years and be like, okay, I actually made a lot of progress, you know, and be proud of myself, because coding is something that's very difficult and it's not an easy thing to do. I made a website that was fully flexible to phone using media queries, and that moment for me right there was a very good moment, because beforehand I was following tutorials and I was writing every piece of code that they were writing, and I was basically stuck in tutorial hell. I mean, I know you guys know what that is. The fact that I was able to do a website, not look at the tutorial, and like make it responsive to phone on my own, I mean, I was so proud of myself. At the time, I didn't add any JavaScript to it because obviously I didn't know JavaScript at that point. I might go back and do that, but you know, even just looking at the website, I was very proud of what I did with it, you know. Even though it might not be perfect or whatever, it was still a big win for me, is the main thing. Now, I'm gonna give some advice, okay? Now look, some of this advice, whether you want to take it or not, is up to you. Now, I know you are listening to me, a beginner, and you're probably thinking, why do I need to listen to anything this guy says? And you're absolutely right. I have done some things in my coding journey, you know, in the last 2 to 3 months that I've done that has allowed me to stay motivated, and I want to share that with you, because being demotivated is such a big thing. There was so many days where I honestly just wanted to quit again, and I was like, no, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna get past this, because I know I can do better for my life, and I know I can do better for one of the biggest things that has probably helped me in be better is, I'm not even kidding you, just documenting my journey. That has been probably the biggest factor on why I have not quit yet. I am posting my results online, whether they get views or not, it doesn't matter. But it's the fact that I can now look back at these things and be like, okay, there's a bit of progress here, there's a bit of progress there, you know. And I look back at these things and I am very proud of myself. I take pride in anything that I do, so I'm very happy with my progress. And I'm like, if I can do that and I can overpass this hurdle, then I know I can overpass the one I'm currently facing. Progress takes time, guys. It really does. But if you show up every day, you don't quit, you do 1% better every single day, you're gonna get somewhere. You're going to 100%. I think a lot of people romanticize coding a lot, because before I started on this journey, I looked it up, I did my research like every other person, and they romanticize it. They're like, in the life of a software engineer, this is a very difficult profession. And I take my hat off to anybody that is in a job with software engineering, because you did a lot of work to get to that point, and I hope you are proud of yourself. Like, sitting in the shoes that you guys used to be in when you didn't have a job in software engineering is what I'm going through right now. And I mean, I'm not even there, because I'm not even able to apply to jobs yet, because I haven't gotten that far. But it's just, the learning process is amazing, and I love every single second of it. At the end of the day, no matter where you are in your coding journey, look, just keep going, keep coding, stay motivated, and just keep improving day by day, Drop a comment and share your story below. I love to hear it. I'll see you in the next video.